Hi, we're at the India Mobile Congress and today we have with us Dr. Rishi Mohan Bhatnagar from Aeris Communications. Hi sir, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. Your company has just partnered with BSNL for IoT. Why don't you tell us more about it?
Yeah. So Tina, I'd like to tell you more about start with what Internet of Thing is, okay, and how this technology can work and how technology can take it forward, okay. So when God made human talks to human, okay, then the next step came when the machines and human can start talking to each other. When we can switch on an AC, we can switch on a TV, and we can do many things, and we can talk to machines, and we can. Now we are getting into a stage when the internet will start making machines talk to machines, okay, and that's the next level. And once you will start collecting data coming from these machines, we'll be able to see certain kind of the solutions which you can work on, and having analytics is what you can get into the Internet of Things space. When we talk about this technology and we start thinking about these technologies, the first thing which comes to many of the urban class individuals, irrespective of which part of the world they are in, we think about a connected car. When the car having messages sent, car talking to the cars, car saying, okay, I got accident, please come and help me, and all those kind of things. And this is one of the use cases, okay. But when you start thinking about a security camera telling there is a theft happening, a security camera saying there is an illegal occupation happening, or somebody is trying to rob a car, or somebody is trying to steal something, okay, that's the way it can provide major security, okay. Similarly, when a grid gets smarter and say, I got this much energy and I have been transmitting only this much, and the meter in a house or a factory will be able to say, this is what is the generation, this is what I received, but this is what I am paying for, okay, we'll have a drastic, revolutionary, transformational changes in the way we can think. Yeah. Just in the case of power industry, I just heard from somebody that there is a 30 to 40% transmission and distribution losses in India. If I can make a meter smarter, and if I can make the grid smarter, okay, we might be in a position to bring those losses from currently 30 to 40% to 8 to 10%. That means without having another power plant being started and investing on that, we will be able to start generating, or I am using the word saving, 30% additional power which has already been produced but could not be consumed. This is what Internet of Things is. Okay. So we can start thinking of many use cases in terms of security, smart cities, digital, the healthcare sector, transportation, and many more. We have a technology which will able to provide and manage this connectivity to these machines. We'll be able to manage these devices. We'll be able to collect all the data coming from these machines and these devices on our data platform, and we'll be in a position to create solutions on top of it and do analytics. So we are an organization which has an end-to-end technology to manage this Internet of Things. So in India, okay, what we require is a connectivity provider who has access to the masses, and where we will be in a position to put our platform, and along with our partners on solutions, we can deploy these solutions and provide the IoT services in India. Now coming to BSNL. BSNL, in addition to being an operator which is supposed to generate revenue and profit, being a public sector organization, it also has certain social obligations, okay. Those social obligations forces them to create mobile towers in the Naxalite set areas. Yes. It makes them, force them, or it's an obligation to provide connectivity in the far northeast, okay. Out of the 100,000 gram panchayats, as a first phase of completion of the BharatNet project, where the optical fiber has been laid out for the gram panchayats, out of the 100,000 completed, 85% has been done by BSNL. So for a company like Aeris to reach to the rural market or to the public sector, where the government is the major investor. So for a company like Aeris, if you start thinking, which is the largest enterprise in this country? The largest enterprise in this country is government, okay. And right now, government has started thinking, how will they manage and provide better services to their customers, who are the citizens. So whether it's healthcare, whether it's transportation, whether it's education, whether it's Ganga rejuvenation or anything. Government is investing and trying to see how can they reach to the masses. Okay. And that this technology along with BSNL will really help the public sector and the government to reach to the masses much faster and more efficiently. So for us, definitely it's a business. We are a business, commercial organization. Okay, but how can we reach to the masses in India? And with the support of BSNL, definitely our technology will help them in taking all these solutions to the masses.
Are you also exploring partnerships with other telcos or other?
We are already partnered with other telcos, and our technology is a very unique combination of the end-to-end stack for IoT together, integrated, which is making us much more attractive to the operators. Instead of going with individual platforms for the end-to-end IoT stack, we provide an end-to-end integrated IoT stack, which is making our positioning much better in the Indian market.
And what kind of trends are you seeing generally when it comes to the proliferation of Internet of Things in India?
If you think about the, how people are adopting Internet of Things, the trends is on the improvement side. Okay, so day before yesterday, I heard the Transportation Ministry is talking about all commercial vehicles having a connectivity, or they should be able to trace them, which means that each and every truck or any commercial vehicle will have a vehicle telematics device or a device being attached, and all the data should start coming out of it. Okay, this is the Internet of Things. Yeah. Okay, when the healthcare department says that they will be in a position to move their primary health center into a health clinic and using the BharatNet fiber optics, will be able to provide a remote patient monitoring from a district headquarter hospital to a village, it is Internet of Things. When the Power Ministry speaks about pilots on smart meters and smart grids, this is Internet of Things. Okay. So one thing is, who is the current users? The current major investor and user of this technology is government, and because they are supplying. So that's the trend, and honestly, if the government start pushing, the trends gets much faster.
Yes.
Okay. So this is one part. The second part is then the enterprises side. If you start seeing, Germany and the Western countries, they're talking about Industry 4.0. How can they modernize their factories? How can they remotely monitor their factories? Our problem in India is a problem of plenty, and less labor cost, young people. Okay. So we are not looking for how can I reduce my cost of delivery, because my cost of delivery is slightly cheaper. Okay. What we are looking for, more efficiency and improving the quality. Okay, that's what we are trying to do. So Industry 4.0 implementation, I have worked with number of big enterprises, which are factories, which have started adopting it, but they still don't know what will be the return on investments. Okay, and that's where they are trying to struggle, whether they should implement or not. But the insurance sector, the traffic, the vehicle insurance has started adopting it in a much faster way. So from the healthcare, education, power, and transportation in the government sector and the smart city, the private sector or the enterprises have started implementing in transportation again. Okay. Secondly, in the fleet management, insurance sector, financing, when you are financing a vehicle, all these sectors have started using these technologies to see how can they implement. The big hospitals are already using remote patient monitoring and remotely monitoring, so I don't want to say that they are now adopting. But the trends are, because of the so much of push for Digital India, smart cities, and many others, and I want to give you a figure, 60 to 65% of the startups in India are working on Internet of Things. Okay, but it's a very big number. If you think about jobs, the Internet of Things are expected to generate huge amount of jobs in India, because we are trying to combine the manufacturing with connectivity to system integration and technology, IT technology. When we are combining all of these together, we need a different kind of program manager. We need a different kind of developer. We need a different kind of managed service operations. If you think about a call center, okay, for a telecom operator, the first thing they'll ask, what is your number? But the number is with a car or with a meter or with a healthcare device.
Yes.
That means you will require a different kind of managed services operations, which will require deployment of devices, field operations, L1, L2, L3 support. So there's a need of a different kind of skill set required, okay, which will generate huge amount of jobs. Okay, so this Internet of Things, one side definitely it will reduce certain jobs, but it will increase so many other jobs which are required for the future. And I'm not only talking about India, the whole world is looking for such kind of specialists who can work on program managing the Internet of Things solutions, developing Internet of Things solutions, and provide the managed services for an end-to-end IoT solution. I'm not talking about a mobile app solution. I'm not talking about a connectivity solution. I'm not talking about a hardware device which generates data. I'm talking about all three of them joined together to provide a service to the end customer.
Recently, the IT minister had announced that they will be coming up with a new IoT policy. So, what are your expectations from this policy, and what kind of things can the policy take care of? Certain aspects that it can have.
So, around 2-3 years back, I was also there, and we were trying to see what should be the IoT policy. My thought is, once the technology gets mature, then you have to regulate and see what is not required to be done, what is required to be done. Okay. But once the technology and the new thing is trying to mature, you need to provide a policy which will help in accelerating the opportunity, the growth and maturing that particular technology. Okay. So my one expectation from the policy makers, and I personally know many of them and I participate in them, is to see what kind of stimulus they can bring by that policy, so that the adoption of IoT can be much faster. Because once we really like to, the technology needs are not only for our automation, the technology needs are also for providing services to the masses. 1.25 billion people, if needs to be provided healthcare services, we are short of somewhere around say 2 million plus doctors. If you really want to provide for 1.25 billion people healthcare services, the only way with the current set of doctors and paramedical staff available is to provide a remote patient monitoring, and that's a technology adoption. So how can you help in adopting these technology faster is what is required. Another thought, I am not sure, whether this is the right forum to say these are things or not. If you start thinking, when I make a call and I am using a mobile phone, the kind of data I use, the amount of voice I use has a certain ARPUs. Now think of a car sending one SMS a day or one SMS an hour. That means they won't be requiring a GB of data. It will be KBs of data. That means the utilization of network will increase, but the per device data usage will be very low. Can we start reducing the licensing fee for M2M kind of services? Okay. Will it help and attract the operators to sell that more? Okay. These are the kind of things which might be required to provide that stimulus that is required for the Internet of Things industry to grow. For adopting these kind of things, can we give certain incentives? If the policies will help that, it will definitely be an encouragement for the industry. If not, then it will be a hindrance.
All right, sir. And this will be my concluding question. So, going forward, what percentage of revenue can IoT-related services contribute to telcos?
See, I can talk more in terms of the Western world, where it has already implementing and getting slightly more mature than what we are seeing it right now in India. In some of the big telecom operators, it has grown to around 15%. Okay, and 15% to it's not an old technology, so that means it won't take 100%. Definitely there will be data, there will be voice and many other services which the operators provide. But it can go to a level when it can reach 15 to 20% of the total revenue, which is a much more profitable one as well. Okay. Thank you very much.
Sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Keep watching this space for regular telecom industry.